Schools in New York could soon be required to install a panic button that could be used in the event of an active shooter. Good evening, I'm Matt Mulcahy.
And I'm Megan Coleman. State lawmakers passed Alyssa's Law last weekend, named after a teen who was killed in the 2018 school shooting in Parkland, Florida. Our Jonathan Singh explains why some feel this law could save lives. Jonathan?
Matt and Megan, 14-year-old Alyssa Alhadeff was shot and killed in Parkland, Florida in the school shooting back in 2018. Her cousin and family have ties to New York, which explains why her mother was in Albany trying to communicate with New York State Governor Kathy Hochul to sign Alyssa's Law. The panic button is a communication tool. It's meant to avoid confusion during active shooter situations.
We need to make sure that our children are safe in school, like we do our banks, like we do our airports.
That's the message from Marjory, a heartbroken mother who lost her daughter Alyssa in the 2018 school shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. If Alyssa's Law is passed, it would require school districts to consider installing silent panic alarms around the building. Alhadeff says this proactive approach will one day save the lives of many.
This panic button, this mass notification needs to be an essential part of your communication in your schools within your districts.
Alhadeff says the panic button will help avoid miscommunication during active shooter situations, something law enforcement in Uvalde, Texas admitted to after 21 people were killed in the Robb Elementary School shooting.
So picture 200 people all being alerted within seconds that there's an active shooter situation or a medical emergency. And it's being directly linked to law enforcement and the 911 center, all within seconds.
Armored One, a security company in Syracuse, says around 70% of central New York schools are already equipped with the silent panic device. They're in favor of Alyssa's Law and say it's a step in the right direction.
It's a great start. Other states have done the same thing. Teachers should, or staff members throughout the building should be able to call, whether it's a duress alarm or a panic alarm or a lockdown, they should be able to do so from their own spaces quickly. They might see something at their part of the building that maybe the front's not seeing.
Funding for a silent panic button would cost schools a couple $1,000s a year. Armored One believes that it should be a top priority in all schools and wouldn't mind seeing it in a budget proposal.
We see these districts that put a lot of money into these beautiful facilities, beautiful sporting stadiums, and even the schools. And it's great to have a great learning environment, but we're not going to be able to enjoy that environment if an attack happens. If we lose lives, we're not going to be able to enjoy those other luxuries.
Alyssa's mother, Lori, has not been in contact with the governor directly. However, she has been in communication with her team and has not been given any indication about if or when the governor will sign this bill into law.
In the wake of the recent mass shootings in Buffalo and in Texas, we've been digging into data on New York State's gun laws, specifically related to extreme risk protection orders that can be filed under the state's red flag law. That means a judge can order a person's firearm taken away or place an order that they can't purchase one after being reported as a potential threat to public safety. From the first tip to police that someone might be a danger with a gun, how long does it take to resolve this? CBS 5 investigative reporter Mary Keeler is on your side now.
Michael, tonight we know that central New York counties are seeing an increase in the amount of extreme risk protection orders filed in just the past few weeks. In Tompkins County specifically, a person with real potential to harm themselves or others with a gun, prosecutors say, was stopped. Just days ago, a store clerk in Tompkins County had a troubling conversation with a customer.
He spoke to a store clerk about his desire to hurt himself and had a bullet in his pocket, had a rifle in his car. That prompted the clerk to call the police, thankfully.
Tompkins County District Attorney Matthew Van Houten says there were major red flags.
He was in his early 20s. Someone who struggled with substance abuse and That case went to court last week, and we successfully obtained an ERPO.
ERPO stands for an Extreme Risk Protection Order. That means someone can't buy or have a gun who poses a safety risk. Between August 25th, 2019 and June 3rd, 2022, Tompkins County filed 10 ERPO petitions, 5 in the last few weeks after mass shootings in Buffalo and Texas.
To take away the guns and to take away their access to guns so that if there is some mental issue that would cause them to snap or do something to harm the public, they can't do it with a gun.
DA Van Houten says because of the store clerk's report, a Supreme Court judge was able to take away the man's rifle. He can't have it back for at least a year.
It was within days.
So it was quick. This
Yes.
law allows you to move.
Very quickly.
The reporting is usually done by law enforcement agencies like state and local police or a district attorney. Then a judge can look at evidence to decide whether someone should have or be able to buy a firearm. In this Tompkins County case, the store clerk sparked that process and thwarted a potential threat.
There's so much that the police don't see every day that citizens in the community do see, and we need them to all, help us to minimize the risk to this community.
And I asked for court paperwork if it existed on this case, and the ERPO petitions are actually sealed, I learned. The man owned the gun legally, the DA says, so no criminal charges or court papers are public to sift through right now. The DA telling me all the petitions filed that he knows of have resulted in guns being taken away.